Hi, let us understand how to create Bookinfo sample application without Istio and access it using the SSH tunneling. For this, I'm going to create a new namespace and get this particular application deployed within that specific namespace, and I'm not going to enable the Istio. So let me go ahead and create a namespace. Let me list all the namespaces available. So these are all the namespaces available now, and in default the Istio injection is enabled. Let me go ahead and create a new namespace. I'm going to call the namespaces no Istio. Basically, I'm not going to add the label Istio injection equal to enabled within this specific namespace. Let me get into the Istio folder. I'm going to apply the Bookinfo YAML file, and I will provide the namespaces no Istio. kubectl apply. I will provide the namespace explicitly -- namespace equal to no Istio and provide the YAML file. All the record entities would get created. Now let me go ahead and list the pods available. So all the pods are getting ready. If you observe very carefully, only one container is getting created within each pod because the Istio is not enabled, so the injection of proxy will not happen in the pods within this specific namespace. Let me go ahead and get all the entities available within the namespace. So these are all the entities, and all the pods got created and it is up and running. And within this, I do have the service to access the pods for the product page, details, ratings, and reviews. Now let's have little more detailed understanding about the sample application. Whenever I am deploying the Bookinfo sample application, these are all the microservices that's going to get deployed. Basically, I'm going to have 4 different microservices, one for product page, review, detail, and ratings. So the product page is going to have the details, reviews, and within reviews, I'm going to have the ratings. And ratings, 3 different versions are available: version 1, version 2, and version 3. Any one of these versions will be used, and I'm going to use all these 3 different versions to learn various functionalities available as a part of Istio. Version 1, it's not going to call the rating service. Version 2, it will call the rating service and it's going to display each rating 1 to 5 using black color stars. And version 3, it's going to call the rating service and it will display each ratings using 1 to 5 red color stars. So based on the output what I am getting from the sample application, I can find out what version is getting called. In case if I enable Istio, each and every pod will be having the sidecar, that is the proxy, with envoy will get deployed, and all the communications will be happening through the envoy. And without Istio, the proxies will not get deployed, and in the namespace that we had created, the Istio is not enabled, so the proxy will not get injected into the pods. And each of the service is responding in this particular port, and the external IP is not enabled. Only the cluster IP we have. In case if I wanted to access the external IP, I need to enable the load balancer and access them. And that is one another way to access using the SSH tunnel. For that, we need to have some understanding on how the SSH tunnel works. I can make the SSH tunnel to work using the putty as well. I'm going to use this particular image to explain how the SSH tunnel works. Now what I have done, now I have used my system to connect to the EC2 instance using the SSH credentials. That is using the SSH server hostname and user ID and the key to login using the port that is defined as a part of SSH. And once it is authenticated, I'm able to work in this particular SSH server. The EC2 instance that we are working is the SSH server now. And within this, Minikube created its own network environment and deployed all the record entities or components, and it's providing its own internal IP address. All I am going to do is, whenever I am going to access any specific port in my local system, I am going to access or forward that request to the remote server through the SSH connection that I have established, and it will get forwarded to the remote server IP address and the port. I'm just displaying this particular image so that you can get a feel on how the SSH tunneling works. I'm going to do the same configuration using the putty. You can use any of the SSH client that's providing the SSH tunneling. I do have the connection established within the EC2 instance. I'm going to change the settings in this particular instance. Get into change settings. As a part of connection, SSH, I will be having an option tunnel. What I'm going to do, I'm going to access the product page. So anytime whenever I'm accessing the IP address and the port 9080. So if I'm accessing the port 9080, the request should get forwarded to this particular IP address and the port 9080. Let me go ahead and add it. So if I'm accessing the port 9080, it's going to access the product page that is running in this specific IP address and in the port 9080. Before applying, I'm going to access the port and show how that's working. Let me access the port 9080 in the localhost. So nothing will get responded. Once if I apply this rule, anything I am accessing through the 9080, it will get routed to this particular request, that is the product page that's running within the server. Now I can use this particular page to test various features available within the demo application. So this is what I was referring to, the review rating. In case if it is providing it in the black color, it's version 2. Let me go ahead and refresh this once again. Now I am getting it in the red color, that means it's version 3. Now I am accessing it. Now I am getting the black color, red color and black color. Let me access it using the test user. I'm not getting any ratings, that means it is accessing version 1. The reason why I am explaining this SSH tunneling, there is one another component which is going to be very useful during our demo, that is Kiali. Let me get all the pods. Let me get all the entities from all the namespaces. As a part of Istio system, there is a pod that got deployed. That is, as a part of Istio system, there is a pod that got deployed called Kiali. Kiali will provide a service mesh management system using a beautiful UI. So we can visualize what are all the microservices part of the service mesh and how they are connected, how they are performing. All we will be in a position to identify. We will be having little more detailed discussion in the next lecture by how to connect the web UI of Kiali. Kiali service is running in this particular IP address and in the port 20001. Let me quickly configure this and see how the UI going to look like. Let me get into the SSH tunnel and configure the port. I can use any of the local host port. I'm going to use the same port that's configured within the server so that there will not be any confusion. 20001, add it and access 20001 port in the local host. This is going to provide a beautiful Kiali console where I will be in a position to visualize the entire application that is running as a part of this particular cluster. Default user ID is admin, password is admin. Let me get into the Kiali console. Here I will be in a position to see various namespaces. Here I do have different namespaces. No Istio is the namespace that is deployed just now. I can see various graph. Here I'm going to have a very detailed view about various applications and do the visualization of the application. We will be having a separate lecture on how to use the Kiali, and we will be using the Kiali extensively to demonstrate various features available as a part of Istio. So in a quick summary, we discussed about how to create the sample application as a part of separate namespace and how to configure the SSH tunneling and access the application in the local host after making the SSH connection with the server, as well as how to access the Kiali web UI. As a part of next lecture, we will be having a detailed discussion about how to make use of Kiali web UI.